Hi, everyone, and welcome to Cassandra Lunch number 85. Today, we're gonna, and I didn't change my title, we're gonna discuss some open source projects that use Cassandra or build on top of Cassandra. My name's Josh. I'm a junior engineer here at Anant and one of the co-organizers for this event. The other organizers being Raul Singh and Arpan. And we're always looking for speakers and sponsors. So if you or someone you know would be interested, is a Cassandra professional and wants to either give a talk, or if you know other Cassandra professionals that would be interested in learning more about Cassandra or the Cassandra ecosystem at these talks, definitely spread the word and let them know about this lunch. Or if you're watching on YouTube, direct them to our playlist. To get involved, you can contact Arpan or myself. Our emails are listed there below. And we are a part of a larger community. Data Community DC is a diverse and inclusive culture, and we support and encourage people of all races, genders, sexual orientation, religions, and we expect respect to be given to those classes at these events. You can find out more about Data Community DC at their blog, as well as some of their upcoming events. And what we cover here is, everything related to Cassandra. So that includes data stacks. We've discussed Scylla quite a bit recently, Spark, Kafka, just the surrounding ecosystem of Cassandra. And if anyone's new and would like to introduce themselves, feel free to do so. Some group rules: if you have a question, please ask it. Be polite and courteous to others and share what you know. This is meant to be a discussion. Here at Not, we deal with real-time global data platforms on a daily basis. So Cassandra is something we are the experts in and like to share our knowledge of Cassandra with you guys. DataStax is also a partner along with George Washington University, and there are some other program and organizational sponsors. And if anyone has any meetups, hackathons, or conferences, you can use this as an opportunity to do so. We are hiring full or part-time positions for data platform operators, engineers, and architects. You can connect with us at careers.anant.us. And Cassandra Lunch has been moved. Obviously, we are on Thursdays now. But just a quick reminder, this is here to stay. Cassandra Lunch will be taking place on Thursdays now. And our next event we have coming up is going to be Spring Cloud Data Flow with Cassandra. It's actually going to be discussed at a data engineers lunch, which occur on Mondays at noon. And you can find more of our events at anant.us/events. All of these videos are uploaded to YouTube, so be sure to check out that playlist. We've discussed a lot of different topics, so definitely check it out. And Cassandra.Link should be your #1 resource for anything related to Cassandra. These are hand-curated articles by Raul Singh or other team members of Anant. So if there's a specific thing you are looking to learn about Cassandra, definitely check out Cassandra.Link. And with that, we can start discussing some projects. And what? Am I on the wrong? Apparently I didn't change my cover slide. And I apologize for that, you guys. So starting off with these projects, I'm going to shamelessly plug a couple of projects that Anant has built. The first one being Cassandra API. This is a project that will allow you to get started with Cassandra, or in this case, DataStax Astra, as quickly as possible. You can import data and then it goes through the instructions, and we can take a look actually at that. But it goes through the instructions on setting up a Cassandra API on DataStax Astra. And we have a couple of blog posts also written about this, and we've discussed it previously in previous videos in further detail. So I won't go into too much detail, but definitely check it out if you are looking to get started with DataStax Astra specifically, or if you just want to get your hands on, in my opinion, one of the easiest implementations of Cassandra. There's no development you have to really do on the Cassandra side of things, as Astra does most of that for you. And then this project will allow you to connect to that DataStax Astra instance. So highly recommend checking out our other videos and then actually going through We have this project on Gitpod, so really easy to get started, especially in conjunction with those videos I mentioned. Oh, I'm gonna get lost in my, here we go. The second project I want to discuss is Cassandra Real-Time. Also another thing another project we've created videos on, so recommend checking those out. It actually connects with that Cassandra API, but this project specifically allows you to get started processing data in real time using Kafka, Spark, Ekka, or Flink. Again, we have a YouTube video on this, so I'm not going to go into too much depth. And we can take a look at the README. This was actually featured at a workshop, which I believe I didn't actually link the YouTube video here. Maybe I did. I did. So there's also a YouTube video on how to use this technology as well, or this project as well. Definitely worth checking out. Oops. And something we've talked about in the past in Jumpstart projects with Cassandra is the shopping cart. It's a scalable shopping cart designed using event sourcing and command query responsibility segregation. And this is a good starter project if you want to get your hands on Cassandra. I don't think it would be as easy as our Cassandra API or real-time, but definitely worth mentioning. As I said, we discussed this in a previous YouTube video, so I'm not going to go too in depth. And there's actually a couple of these different projects that we discussed more in depth previously. Boss Backend is also one of these projects. Design a backend generator for big scale backend services. It's an older project as well, but definitely worth checking out our discussion on it in the past. And now into the newer ones that we hadn't discussed. This PHP Fast Cache, so an abstract PHP cache library for building reactive apps. Caching will help speed up your website performance and load times. And I thought this was an interesting project. There's a few different drivers you can use, Cassandra being one of them. And the goal, as I mentioned, is to kind of speed up your front end application a bit using caching. I didn't actually try to work with this project at all. I was just kind of documenting and presenting these different projects to you guys. But definitely something worth looking into if you're looking to speed up your website through caching. JHipster, also something we've talked about in the past, still very relevant if you want to quickly deploy web applications and microservices. They have front-end support for a lot of different technologies, including the big three, Angular, React, and Vue. They also have mobile application support with Ionic and React Native, as well as backend support for Spring Boot, Micronaut, Quarkus, Node.js, and .NET, and a few different deployment options through Azure, Cloud Foundry, GCP, Heroku, and OpenShift. Again, this is something that we discussed in a previous video. Still very well maintained and easy to get started with, highly supported. They do have Cassandra as an option for your server side. And again, I'll refer to that other video as far as a more detailed in-depth look at JHipster. I found this one interesting, Go SQL. So Cassandra Client for the Go programming language. Cassandra, it's using the native support for Cassandra, automatic type conversions between Go and Cassandra. And it also includes cluster management, query tracing, atomic batches, and frame compression. Let's see. This is still a well-maintained project, or I thought I had their GitHub here. Clearly, they're still working on it, but I thought it was cool that it's a project that allows you to use Go, the programming language, in conjunction with Cassandra. Another project, SQLPad. This is less of a project in which you would like be using in a production system. It's more of like an exploratory tool to check out queries, which includes Cassandra queries along with some of these other backend tools. This isn't a dashboarding tool. You're not going to want to use this to visualize large amounts of data, but if you just want to test, quickly test some queries, it's kind of like a little notepad in which you can do that, or a web application notepad in which you can do that. I thought it was kind of a nifty little tool. I haven't tried it myself yet, but does seem like it'd be useful, especially if you're just kind of poking around. Next tool here is Stream Framework, Python library, which allows for the construction of activity streams using Cassandra or Redis. Allows you to build news feeds, activity streams, notification systems, and they include a couple demos to get started. And a lot, like, I thought I included the Git. Sorry, you guys. I thought I had the GitHub README on here. I thought it was a little more useful, but allows you to build things like messaging apps, Twitter clones, and it's all using Cassandra. I wonder if I can go to their repo. I think I have it linked at the end here. No, I don't. And finally, technology we plan on showcasing more frequently here in the future is ZyliDB. So similar to Cassandra, well, identical to Cassandra in this case, open source distributed NoSQL wide column data store. It is built on Apache Cassandra initially, using like the same kind of ideas, and it's compatible with Cassandra. However, their claim to fame is like higher throughput and lower latencies, something that they're really proud of and like to push. Supports CQL and SS tables, has Scylla Cloud, and reportedly outperforms Cassandra by 10 to 37 times, depending on the workload. We intend to hopefully have more in-depth discussions about Scylla here in the near future. So definitely stay tuned for that. This is by and far the most popular open source project using Cassandra, or on Cassandra. And when I was creating this, I was using GitHub and just looking at Cassandra-based projects with stars, and yeah, that one is definitely the highest. As you can see here, like 7,000 stars. Skill is definitely the most popular Cassandra project out there. Again, I referenced that we have discussed some of these projects in the past, and I encourage you to check those out at Cassandra.Link. You can check out a blog post as well. There's also some more kind of front-end projects listed here along with a YouTube video. So definitely worth checking that out. Unfortunately, I didn't really have, I was having a hard time finding like other really well fleshed out projects that are open source anyway on Cassandra that actually had been maintained in the recent history. So kind of unfortunate. I think Cassandra is typically used in kind of more production level projects and in companies. So to get started, these are some of your better options. And yeah, that's kind of all I have for you guys today. Are there any questions or any other projects you guys have seen that you would like to kind of promote or talk about?
How do you feel like these projects compare as learning tools to starting your own project or going through DataStax Academy or some of the other options that people might choose to start picking up Cassandra?
So I think as far as like actually developing for Cassandra, like Cassandra API is great if you're wanting to just quickly get started. Maybe practice using SQL and thinking about your why am I blanking? Your data model, excuse me, sorry. DataStax Academy is also great for those kind of things. But I think like using a project like this gives you a little more like hands-on experience versus the sandbox environment that you get with the DataStax Academy projects. Although this still, I guess, could be considered sandbox with the way it uses Gitpod. But I think this gives you more in-depth kind of experience in actually connecting to the API versus the DataStax Academy. When you're going through it, it's kind of already set up for you, and then it's more so about practicing actual SQL statements and stuff like that. Although they do have programs on connecting. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Thanks, Obi.
There's a comment from the YouTube chat. Another popular or tool that people can use with Cassandra is Stargate.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wasn't sure if that one was, I guess it is DataStax Stargate. We've discussed Stargate a little bit in the past, and I've actually used it, used the REST API. Yeah, definitely a cool tool. DataStax has a lot of tools that are actually really helpful. As you can see, we leverage their DataStax Astra, which is like a cloud Cassandra in the cloud, essentially. We've discussed it kind of at length as well, as far as it's free to get started on. Definitely highly recommended tool to practice with. Don't believe it's technically open source, but because it is a pay to use tool, especially if you're going to use it like in production, or if your project happens to blow up, you will definitely have to start paying for it. But yeah, DataStax in general offers a lot of different projects, and along with their academy to get started with Cassandra. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, there's a question in the chat. Any recommendations for free big data sources for this type of project?
That's a good question. Are you talking, Nick, like large data sets?
Yeah, exactly like that. I know there are some like government agencies that release some of these. I was just wondering if there was anything that you knew about specifically.
Not specifically, but I feel like there are some like machine learning data sets.
Yeah, I always go for Kaggle data sets. So they're I believe owned by Google, but they host data science competitions pretty much constantly. So they have just a big set of data sets. This is the ad.
Yeah, if you go back, Josh,
The second link.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
You can find all sorts of data sets that people have previously used for competitions, are currently using for competitions, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I've also used a couple like just CSV generators, because with like Cassandra, you have CQL, right? You can import data in like CQL format. So as long as your like schemas are proper and your datas are delimited properly, you can also just use it with like a CQL insert or flag F. So like I've actually used this one specifically.
Mockaroo.
Yeah, so I've generated, I think, a 10,000 row CSV that I've used before in running some like data sets for I'd like insert data into Cassandra and then pick it up using Spark. And then on top of that, showing that you can do like quickly. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so you can like quickly generate the type of data you want. So like for my specific demo that I was doing, like I generated data regarding like timestamps. So that way I could show like using Spark, take two columns, get the date duration between them, and then insert that into like a new table. So kind of showing some ETL processes. There's also some other options in the YouTube chat. Yeah, we mentioned Kaggle. Wikimedia Foundation is another one. And then Wikimedia data sets, it looks like it includes like Wikipedia, dictionary. Maybe if you could pull that up. That was pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Wikimedia before.
Yeah, Ion actually, or Eon has dropped a few. Wikimedia. Let's see. Eon has dropped a couple different ones in the chat as well. Data.gov and the one I just clicked on, the Google Cloud Console. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. This is great.
Let's see. Wikidata. Sounds like what we're looking for. Seems like there's a lot of large data set options out there, especially with machine learning. Makes sense that a lot of people are getting behind this and trying to, you know, we all generate so much data as it is anyway. It makes sense that there should be fairly easy to get large data sets. Anyone else have any Cassandra projects or anything that they've worked on that's open source and somehow related to the Cassandra ecosystem?
Yeah, I think we have some tools on like Awesome Cassandra, right? And some tools on Cassandra Tools as well, if people want to use those resources.
Yeah, how could I forget? Yeah, Awesome Cassandra is loaded with tools and resources. Something I helped get listed on the Awesome list. Let's take a look. Do we have just a projects? No, but you can see all sorts of resources for databases, managed options, actually using Cassandra itself. Probably could have included more of these in my presentation. I should have started here. What am I thinking? Moving Cassandra, data modeling, Cassandra architecture. You can see there's a lot of different resources here, and definitely worth bookmarking if you have any questions about Cassandra. And as I mentioned, Cassandra.Link for resources as well.
Oh, I meant Cassandra Tools if I accidentally said Cassandra.Link. Yeah, because we have a fair amount of tools that we've kind of sourced over time, so people can find that work with Cassandra. So maybe some new tools, Josh, that you found, we can probably add to Cassandra Tools if they are still being kept up and still being used in 2022.
Yeah, a lot of so I was looking for projects that were built on Cassandra was kind of the direction I was going. Which again, it's Cassandra being more of like a big large volumes of data. Doesn't seem like many like open source projects are actually built. There were a large number of different tools I found that interact with Cassandra, but for the focus, I wasn't specifically trying to use things that interact with Cassandra. I was trying to use things built on top of Cassandra, or things that could be built on top of Cassandra, like JHipster. But yeah, there's definitely no shortage of tools that interact, and yeah, Cassandra Tools, as Nick can attest, as he's been updating this, is chock full of different ways to interact or use Cassandra, also worth checking out.
Can confirm there, Josh. A lot of really good stuff on here.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it previously. Now that we've implemented, I could let Nick talk more about it, but there's now search on Cassandra Tools.
Yeah. So let's see, do we talk? Oh, yep, data stacks. Yeah, there are no shortage of connectors to Cassandra that I found on GitHub. The majority of actually like the popular projects, quote unquote, kind of fall into that category, like different connectors, or like in Scylla's case, like actually built on top of Cassandra, but its own faster version. But yeah, as far as like, I was really hoping to find more kind of front end applications that relied on Cassandra in the back end, especially for like real time. And we saw a couple like in the messaging, which one was that?
I think GetStream, you mentioned.
Yeah, you're right. It was GetStream or Stream Framework. Yeah. I thought that these were the kind of projects I was hoping to find more of. Here we go. Like open source backends with Cassandra, but mainly found just tons and tons of tools. So I'll have to send those over to you, Nick, because we have a lot more options, or add them to awesome Cassandra as well, as that list will grow.
Do you think that's actually like, because it could potentially be a side effect that people use Cassandra a lot in their analytics setup, but not necessarily a lot in like outward facing, like in projects with front ends. They might just use it inside in their analytics platform and not actually be using it to put data out to a front end.
That actually does make a lot of sense. Especially, I could see that being the case, especially since you're, as far as querying data, having to really think about your data model first and foremost, trying to develop a front end application with that in mind, especially as most people are coming from just traditional relational database backgrounds. I feel like there's a lot more legwork up front, even though it'll make Cassandra's going to be faster than a lot of relational databases doing joins and stuff like that. I'm wondering if like, yeah, especially for like someone just creating a small like project or something they want to like demonstrate, Cassandra being like a more difficult upfront option than a relational database. Were you going to say something, Obi? Sorry.
No, just wanted to like put forward the possibility, maybe talk about it a bit.
Yeah, there's a comment in the YouTube chat from Rahul saying that a lot of people also use it for transactions and like fast retrieval of data for commerce, etc. So maybe if someone's building like potentially like a stock tracker, that could be potential use case. Also follow up from the YouTube chat. They are generally custom since no current platform that comes out of the box already uses Cassandra. Kind of to what you mentioned a little bit, Josh.
Mhm. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, a lot of connectors, Alessandra, drivers, and then a lot of these projects are like Cassandra, like for testing against Cassandra, or I found a few of them, like Gatling and stuff like that, where it's not so much kind of that paradigm I was going at this with was, as I mentioned, wanting to find projects that were built out of the box with Cassandra as the backend. Those proved to be a bit more difficult to find. But yeah, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I just dropped another one in the chat. I've been thinking about a big data project that uses Stack Overflow as the source and sort of crawls through it and tags Stack Overflow. Has anybody in the chat heard of something like that or seen something like that?
So it would would you, I guess to clarify what you're thinking about, would it be like something where you crawl Stack Overflow and then you tag it internally, or would it then tag Stack Overflow on Stack Overflow?
Oh, I hadn't thought to that level yet. I think both of them are useful. One's just continuing sort of the open source tradition, and one is leveraging open source data for internal uses.
Says, Nick, I'm sure Google does it. There's the Stack Overflow crawler at a quick Google search. So
yeah, you could potentially use Stargate to connect it to Astra and crawl it using Python and push it using either like a REST API and the Python driver and send it to Astra that way, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I see you found this too, Josh. I mean, of course, somebody's doing it.
Yeah, Stack Overflow, I'm sure, has been indexed by a bunch of different people. Yeah, so any, I don't want to keep you guys if the discussion's kind of waning. Does anyone else have any maybe projects that they've worked on themselves or have created themselves using Cassandra, not related, like that could potentially be open sourced versus paid?
I don't know if you covered Alessandra. I don't remember you covered it, but I think that's a really cool Cassandra, tool. It's a mix of Elasticsearch and Cassandra, and it's open source, and we use it, and it's amazing.
Big fan. What have you used it for, Stefan?
We use it in some of our internal projects, but I used it in a few projects, and I like the API of Elasticsearch, the way you can query data and everything, and it just, it's in the background, it's Cassandra database.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think another one that we have is Cassandra Vision to help you. Like, it's a couple of tools for like offline analysis. So like it's public on GitHub. So if you just go to if you just search Cassandra Vision or on our organization, let me see if Ryan, Eon, you've worked on Cassandra Vision, right? or OB as well. But yeah, we have a couple tools that we can use to do like offline Cassandra analysis. So the tool is built for doing analysis on Cassandra. So like log, node tool output analysis, a pretty frequently used one that we use is Table Analyzer. And so that helps you find hotspots and skews in your data model. So if you guys are interested in that, this is open sourced from us. Feel free to take a look. You can find it on, we're just Googling Cassandra.Vision, but you can find it on our Anant organization as well.
Yeah, also, I don't know if you mentioned, but Cassandra is really cool for deploying to Kubernetes, and it actually comes with Stargate in it. So the Helm chart has Stargate in it. So you can, there's a few ways you can communicate with it, SQL and API and GraphQL. So it's a really cool tool.
Yeah, I know you've done a few talks, Stefan, on Cassandra on Kubernetes.
This documentation is really cool, really fleshed out. And also, I think the CAS operator, which is just the DataStax CAS operator for Cassandra, is also, there's a documentation here in it on the left. But this is a really big project, and you know, if you're ever working with Kubernetes, this would be your go-to.
Yeah, I was about saying that the Kubernetes operator, yeah, it makes sense a lot.
The CAS operator, Isaac?
You
Yeah,
had
exactly.
it in the previous, you know, other one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there were, definitely no shortage of tools to like help deploy Cassandra or connect to Cassandra via drivers. Then the majority of the projects I found on GitHub, especially ones with you know, a fair amount of stars or still well maintained, were all different drivers or deployment kind of projects. Unfortunately, not the paradigm I kind of went at this presentation with. But yeah, there is a lot of stuff. It's cool to see the Cassandra ecosystem, and I'm sure there's other stuff being worked on as well. That's kind of all I have today. If anyone has anything, I can stop sharing.
I do have one more question that I think is relevant, and that's out of the sort of projects that you reviewed, how do you think those 10 projects rate in scale from like easiest to hardest?
That's a good question. It kind of depends, because some of them do different things. I think easiest would be Cassandra API, just because of the documentation we've done here as Anant on it, including like the READMEs really well fleshed out, and there's a couple videos in which it's showcased, and actually we go through the process of starting the API. Real-time is somewhat similar in that, and it uses that Cassandra API to do some real-time. I could click on this. Here we go. Like connecting to Cassandra using Spark and Kafka. I would say these, as far as like just getting up and running, and especially with the option to connect with Gitpod, are the easiest. Or even DataStax Astra, which I didn't feature much in this because I know they kind of are more of a paid service. Although they do have a lot of like quick start projects. Some of these are a little more involved. I would say JHipster or like GoSQL is more of a specific thing. SQLPad seemed fairly straightforward to get started with. So I would I would probably go easiest being like API in real time. And then, I mean, like Scylla, for example, is its own database. So it's not, well, it's an open source project. It's not like specifically just a standalone project or client. There just doesn't seem to be many of those, as we've discussed. JHipster, I guess, would be the more involved version of some of these other ones, because Cassandra API in real time are more so about interacting with Cassandra and kind of like smaller projects, whereas JHipster would then be like a more fully formed application. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen, so sorry.
That's all right. The discussion still appreciated. Thank you.
Well, if there's nothing else, thank you everyone for joining today. Had a couple hiccups in my presentation that I apologize for. But yeah, I very much appreciate the discussion and contributions from people in attendance and YouTube.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.